Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Novia Saptorini from English Language and Teaching Department 5C. I would like to present the result of my journal investigation. So without any further ado, let me start the presentation. The journal I investigated was entitled The Evaluation Coursebook for Grade 10 Senior High School, and the authors are Uswatun Hasanah and Anik Nunukuliani from the State University of Malang. The goal of this study was to investigate how good the book Bahasa dan Sastra Inggris untuk SMA kelas 10 met the expectation of a good course book. And the research questions are formulated as follows. The first one is to what extent does the course book meet the criteria of 4 eligibilities in the checklist. And the second one is what are the teachers and student opinion toward the course book. And the next is the theories that were used in this study are as follows. The first one is from BNSP 2016. A course book under the scores 80 to 90% is categorized as a good course book. Based on the theory, the first instrument used in this study was adapted checklist. And the next theory from Channingsworth 1995. A course book has one important aspect to become a good course book, and it is the practicality of the course book. Practicality refers to the degree to which user consider an intervention to be used and preferable under the normal condition. And the last is from Di Tommaso 2015. The common type of ways that are used in the evaluation design includes a review of program document and records, administrative data, interviews or focus group, and direct observation. Based on these two theories, the second instrument used in this study was interview guide for the users of the course book that were represented by one English language teacher and 5 students. And the following topic is result and discussion. The researcher explained the research finding based on the research question. The first one is the scores of the course book. This study was designed to determine the quality of the course book entitled Bahasa dan Sastra Inggris untuk SMA kelas 10. The course book receives scores with a considerable distance in each eligibility. The eligibility of content scored 3.6 or 90% fulfilled the criteria, and the eligibility of presentation scored 3.75 with the percentage of 94%, and the eligibility of language scored 3 with the percentage of 75%, and the last, the eligibility of graphic scored a 2.75 with the percentage of 68% fulfilling the criteria. The scores show that the eligibility of content and the eligibility of presentation are different from the score of the eligibility of language and eligibility of graphic. It can be seen from this table. This table explains that there are some big differences in the eligibility score. The first is the score difference between the eligibility of content and the eligibility of language, which is 0.60, while the scores difference between the eligibility of content and the eligibility of graphic is 0.85. You can see on the bold score in the last column. And the big score difference is also shown between the eligibility of presentation and the eligibility of language, which is 0.75, including also the differences between the eligibility of presentation and the eligibility of graphic, which is 1. These differences are far from the difference between the eligibility of content and the eligibility of presentation, which is just 0.15. From the table, we know that there are distinct scores between the eligibilities, especially in the score of eligibility of content and presentation with the score of eligibility of language and graphics. This distinct score may be because the coursebook creators and evaluators just focus on revise the content and the presentation of the coursebook. The coursebook in the study received fair score in the eligibility of graphic that is inversely proportional with the eligibility of presentation and eligibility of content. Other than the bad value in the eligibility of graphic, the coursebook also has a fairly low value on the eligibility of language, which is the most important part of the English lesson. The score result of eligibility of language is disappointing, considering that this coursebook is produced by the Kemendikbud. The distinct score is clearly shown between the eligibility of presentation and the eligibility of graphic. The difference score of these two eligibilities is 1, that is the highest difference score of the eligibilities. The possible explanation of this result might be due to error or mistakes in the production process. The creator should control the production process until the coursebook is ready to be distributed. Even though the creator has chosen the right image, color, and writing for the book, there will be no guarantee that the coursebook will be produced the same as what the creators want. And the second finding in this study is the teacher and student opinion to improve the quality of the coursebook. This study used an interview guide as the second instrument after the checklist. The result of interview from a teacher and 5 students is that the coursebook has met the 83% requirement of good coursebook. And there are 4 negative responses for the coursebook from the interviewee. They are the negative comments from student 3 for the eligibility of graphic, a negative comment from student 4 for the eligibility language and presentation, and the last is a negative comment from student 5 for the eligibility of content. From all of the comments, it can be concluded that the coursebook is a good coursebook based on the opinions of the teacher and student. Moreover, from the comments, there were also several important opinions from the teacher and students about the coursebook to improve the quality of the coursebook. The opinions are suggestions for future coursebook. The suggestions are formulated into 2 important points. The first is the coursebook needs to be improved in terms of the selecting, grading, and the completeness of the content and exercise. And the second is the coursebook needs to be improved in the quality of the graphic and practicality of the coursebook. The teacher and student valued the coursebook after using it in the learning and teaching process for 1 year or 2 semesters. The first suggestion from them is related with the selecting, grading, and completeness of the content and exercises. Selecting and grading are related to how the evaluator selects the coursebook's content and how balanced are the coursebook exercises in each chapter. From the suggestion in the interview, it shows that the teacher and student opinion are in line with the result of the checklist in the eligibility of presentation. Selecting and grading is one of criteria in the eligibility of presentation that received the score 3 in the checklist when the other criteria received score 4. According to interview with the teacher, it revealed that even though the coursebook almost fulfill all the criteria in the eligibility of presentation, the coursebook still lacks in the grading. It shows by the distribution of the exercises that are not well distributed in each chapter, where evaluation questions become easier than warm-up exercises. The coursebook also still lacks in the pronunciation exercises. The exercises are not balanced as there are 2 pronunciation exercises in 2 chapters from 8 chapters. And there is also no glossary in each chapter, which make the students and teacher hard to understand the content of the chapter. And the student also think that the text is too long and too difficult, where they need much time to understand the text. This result show that the coursebook needs to grade the exercises from the easiest to hardest exercises to select the content again. This opinion might be one of the highlight finding for the creators of the coursebook to improve the quality of the coursebook, especially in selecting and grading. And the second suggestion from the teacher and student is focused on the practicality and physical appearance of the coursebook. This suggestion is related with the eligibility of graphic, where the coursebook received the lowest score. The opinions are about the design of the coursebook that needs to change because it is not interesting, and also the opinion of the blurry pictures in the coursebook that make them hard to to understand the picture or read the sentence in the picture. This comment is addressed to chapter 6 about the event advertisement. In this chapter, most of the advertisements are in the form of picture and most of them are blurry. The explanation of this opinion might have something to do with the fact that most students in language class of SMA Laboratorium Grade 10 are visual learners. The visual learners are the learners who are easier to understand the lesson if they are using media that have a good visualization, and mostly they judge the media by the visualization of the coursebook. This might be a strong reason why all of the students give suggestion to revise the design, picture, and also the cover of the coursebook, since the coursebook is the media they use every day for English lesson. The suggestion for the eligibility of graphic is not only about the coursebook physical appearance, but also the practicality of the coursebook. In the interview result, the teacher suggested that the creator needs to improve the quality of the coursebook bind because it is too weak that it cannot survive even for one semester. In fact, the coursebook will be used for 2 or 3 years before the government makes the new revised version. Make it important to be one of a creator consideration to improve the quality of the coursebook. This suggestion can be also one of highlighting suggestion to revise the coursebook because the quality of the coursebook not only focused on the content, but all of the requirement criteria should be fulfilled by the creator of the coursebook. And the last is conclusion. This study is aimed to know how much the coursebook entitled Bahasa dan Sastra Inggris untuk SMA kelas 10 meets the criteria of a good coursebook. After analyzing the data, the evaluator arrives at the finding that the coursebook produced by Kemendikbud has a good quality. It was shown from the good score of the good score of this study, and the score is 82% of the book that has fulfilled the criteria. This finding is based on the score obtained from the checklist. The highest difference from all the score is a 1, that is between the score of eligibilities of presentation and eligibility of graphic. The possible reason for this different score might be the error in the production process. Beside the finding, the study also highlights 2 important suggestions from the users, and they are a teacher and a student of SMA Laboratorium UM. The suggestions are to improve the selection and grading in the coursebook content or eligibility of presentation, and to improve the quality of picture and practicality of the coursebook or eligibility of graphic. Therefore, the final result of the study proved that the coursebook entitled Bahasa dan Sastra Inggris untuk SMA kelas 10 meets the expected requirement of a good coursebook with score 80%. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you for your listening. May all those I have shared be beneficial for all of us. I would like to apologize if there are any mistakes. Thank you very much. I hope you have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.